Their skeletons don't form properly, and because of this, their bones break easily, sometimes just from the weight of their bodies. On top of this, their legs and feet become deformed. And more bones are broken when the chicken catchers come in and take them off to the slaughterhouse.
I'd rather have turkey anyway.
Life's probably even worse for turkeys. It's hard to believe, but their ancestors still live in the wild in America and can fly at over 90 kilometres an hour. Some modern turkeys can hardly walk, and none can reproduce naturally.
Duck. That's really my favourite.
And it's much the same for ducks. Birds which have evolved to live with water, dive in it and feed from it, never even see water, except in their metal feeding tubes.
Fish. That's what I really like. Not a lot wrong with fish.
Listen to this, man. Alan Durnin, talking to us from the World Watch Institute, one of the most important environmental groups in the world. It's calling from Washington. Listen.
Hello?
According to the United Nations, the oceans of the world are faced with a catastrophe. Of the 17 main fishing areas, 9 are on the point of ecological collapse, and the rest are being fished to their limits. Quite simply, the world's oceans are dying just so people can eat fish, such as tuna. But it isn't just the fish that suffer. Nets such as drift nets can stretch up to 50 kilometers and kill whales, dolphins, sharks, rays, and even diving seabirds. It seems crazy, but much of the fish caught is fed to other fish in fish farms. In fact, all over the world, farmed animals are causing environmental damage. One of the greatest is the destruction of the rainforests.
Don't tell me the cows eat them.
These amazing wildernesses are home to nearly 1/2 of all the world's wild animals and the plants which provide many of our medicines. And unknown peoples still live in their depths. And what do we do with them? We cut them down. For what? Grazing for hamburger cattle. Central and South America are among the worst areas affected. The thin soil provides poor pasture and after just a few years turns to desert. Instead of rain being absorbed by the tree roots, it turns into floodwater and carries away the soil forever. Animals eat so much food that the land is pushed beyond its limits by the widespread use of fertilizers and pesticides. It results in a breakdown of the soil structure and erosion by wind and rain. Despite this, the number of animals keeps on increasing.
Eggs, Emil. What about eggs?
Well, there's eggs, and there's eggs.
I knew it. I knew it.
These are called battery cages. 5 fully grown hens in a space about the size of a microwave oven. Thousands of cages, tens of thousands of birds, all in one shed. Battery hens spend their entire life like this, with just wire to stand on, no nesting material and no privacy. The chicken's wild ancestor, the jungle fowl, only lays about 20 eggs a year, but the battery hen lays over 300. This takes so much calcium from her bones that they become brittle and easily break. According to government research, 1/3 of battery hens have broken bones, and all of them suffer.
So when did they let them out? You know, for their holidays and weekend off?
They don't. So it's hardly surprising that they become stressed and frustrated and often turn to pecking each other. The common answer is to cut their beaks when they're chicks. Research has shown that the beak is a very sensitive organ, so sensitive that some chicks die of shock, some bleed to death, and others are in pain for their whole life. For every female, a male bird is also hatched. They can't lay eggs, and as battery birds have been bred to be scrawny, they're no good for meat, so they're killed, gassed or crushed and used for animal feed. The hens are usually killed before they're 2 years old for use in pies, pasties, soups and so on. The lucky few are bought by animal sanctuaries, and to begin with, they're completely bewildered. One of the first things they do is build a nest. Then they dust bathe and strut around for the first time in their lives.
So you care more about animals than you do about people?
So what are you doing for people?
Well, I don't eat them.
Exactly nothing. At least on a vegetarian diet, we save people.
There are many more farm animals in the world than there are people.
Oh.
That means they use too much land, they use too much water, and they eat too much food. And that's one of the reasons why the world's poor have to go without. Just look at America. The amount of soya and wheat they feed to their cattle alone would feed the entire populations of India and China.
Yeah, but at least we're okay in Britain.
In Britain, 90% of our farmland is used to grow feed for farm animals, and we still need lots more. We have to import huge amounts of food from the third world, countries where children are dying from starvation. 12 million die every year.
Why do they sell us the food if they need it themselves?
Because they're desperate for money, to pay off the debts to rich Western nations like Britain and America, and to buy products like oil. That's why they're growing so much animal feed.
But I don't understand. Why so much animal food?
Because it takes 10 kilograms of vegetable protein to produce 1 kilogram of animal protein.
You just think, if everybody ate a meat-based diet, the kind that a lot of people in America and Britain eat today, you couldn't even feed half of the world's population. Yet if everybody became a vegetarian, you could feed the whole world and more. An area of land the size of 5 football pitches will grow enough meat to feed 2 people, maize to feed 10 people, wheat to feed 24 people, or soya to feed 61 people.
So animals eat most of the world's food, and that's one reason why there are people starving. I love my chili and my burgers and my sausages and my pies and all of that sort of stuff.
But you can have all of that on a veggie diet. I'd like you to meet somebody. Her name's Rose Elliott, and she's an absolutely wicked cook.
I've written a few books on vegetarian cookery.
Just a few.
And I know that that's something which worries a lot of people. But there are lots of foods which are made to taste exactly like meat. And you just wouldn't tell the difference, but they haven't got anything from an animal in them at all. You see, when some people go vegetarian, they still want to enjoy meaty-style foods. And they can. There's all kinds of food which you can buy from health food shops and supermarkets.
Is that pizza?
That's pizza.
Curry?
Yes.
Oh, great, okay.
All your favourites are here.
Burgers?
Yes. But you can also make your own foods. And then things really get exciting because there are wonderful tastes and flavours, colours and textures, and the sky's the limit. And the great thing is that no animal has to be killed in order to do it.
Can I try it?
Have a dip, see what you think. That's chili.
This is my favourite dish.
Oh, good.
What does it taste like?
Oh, it's wicked.
But the food really is delicious. There's no problem at all.
And I can still have my burgers.
So what do you reckon, Nikki?
Well, as Pythagoras once said.
He was a veggie.
Okay, Einstein.
He was one too.
Anyone else?
Damon from Blur, Crispin from Coolie Shaker, and Captain Kirk.
Okay. What about Jasper Carrot?